Welcome, Supreme Commanders. How you doing today? We've got an epic going down on Setons for you. In the last 24 hours, this one sent in by a subscriber called David. Thank you very much for this one, David. Only the second subscriber game that we've ever cast, and the last one that we did, I think, broke just about all records here on the channel, if not very close to it. So no pressure at all, David. You know, trust you that this is a good one. Going down on Setons Clutch, as we've said, a 20 by 20 map. Team 1 up top enjoying a 25-point lead. And with that, let's start introducing our game. Team 2 down in the south-western corner, rated in at 1100, so Team 1 1125. And so a slightly lower rating than what we're used to on the channel. But I'm assured no less action and no less carnage despite that. And those of you paying attention on the thumbnail, yes, you did read right. Game mass totals well north of 15 million. And so that's an awful lot of metal, or whatever you want to call the mass, that's been taken out of the ground and converted into mechanical mayhem. And with that, let's get cracking. Alright, there we go. Fading the game in. Oh, what a strange view that is. Looks like it's part of, well, I've said before, some sort of motherboard chip, but there's a lot of pipes and cooling, so who knows? And with that, there we go. Of course, the Setons map that we're all used to do, or used to even, and with that, let's make a start there as I get rid of the piece of paper that tells me what I have to say, because I've got a memory like a sieve, and if I don't write it down, I'll forget. All right, unpausing the game. Let's start with team number 1. We'll start in the forward position there. I see what you've done. I see what you've done. The name looks all innocent, but when you read it aloud, it says something that's almost, but not quite rude. I think we can just about get away with it on this one. It's Nursa Semi, the 1400 there in pink, going Seraphim, and forward there for Team 1 First Land. Moving to his north in orange is Crypto91, Cybran player there, going first air, the 1000 rated beach player for Team 1 there. Interesting is going first air, and then is going first power, and so not first mass. We'll have to see if this build pays dividends for him or not. In the back for Team 1 in rear wick gear is MutantGenepool, or MutantGenepool. Depends if you truncate his name or not, like the Supreme Scoreboard does. 900 rated there in Seraphim there, playing as yellow, and so below the average overall on this one. And going first air, what I was told on this, despite some of the ratings being a little lower, was their gaming quality. You wouldn't know that they were lower rated players, so we'll have to see if that pans out as well. And then last but not least here on the rock position for Team 1 is Microchip, 1200 rated there, going first air as well in khaki green. And again, this slightly unusual opening, not going for the mass points, but going all for the PGens. And that's because, of course, rock or cliff player has access to, wouldn't you know it, a series of rocks. And if we take a look, he's already bagged some of those. He's now getting the tree clumps because, of course, 1200 not being a nub. And here we see these rocks here totaling just over 500 mass still to go. In addition to whatever he's getting from the clumps, we see the engineer so far has gotten itself 338 mass. And that's what's enabled Microchip to start with that opening build there that normally would not be possible. And we'll take a quick look now on the south side. I've slowed time down just a bit as some of the units are making their ways towards the mid. In the forward slot for Team 2 is Nooby, or Nooby-pl. Maybe that means Poland, who knows. But either way, he's blue, he's UEF, and he's making his way towards the mid. And pausing there for just a second to admire the scenery, perhaps check up on what his engineer is doing. And if this was a Giles cast, you already know what this guy's called. It's Terrence. Oh, Kyle, stop looking at Terrence. It's the strap bomb that I want to see. Yeah, I miss plenty of stuff too, as we find once I start castings. It's not as easy as you think. It is when you don't have to say anything, but as soon as you have to start commentating on stuff, basically all bets are off and everything else goes out the window. Meanwhile, beach then in lilac here is NHK The 1200 rated Aeon there going first land. Looks like second air there as he's already got his Hydro expanding in the usual ways. Interestingly enough, we see NHK making his way towards the mid. This is something we see the pro players do all the time. But Crypto91 says, well, I ain't doing that. I'm staying back at base. We'll see how that benefits one team or the other in a bit, I'm sure. Meanwhile, in back for Team 2, and I'm going to get this guy's name wrong. You know what I'm reading when I see that there. It's actually BobTheNoob. He's a 600 rated Cybern there in Electric Blue going first land. But you know damn fine well that I'm if I'm not reading boobs, I'm reading the other. And it's going to slip out at some point. And apologies in advance. It's just... It's one of those mind trickery things. You see something that you don't, advertisers exploit that all the time. They put a cucumber and 2 onions next to it on the plate or something. And, I've seen Burger King and the likes do stuff like that as well. To try and, subconsciously give you the little, oh, I want a bit of that. You think you want the burger, but subconsciously your mind thinks it's getting something else. Yes, all of that trickery. Perhaps BobTheNoob is in charge of the advertising department over there. Who knows? But last but not least, it's Kotzbrocken, the 1300 rated there. Seraphim going first air, second land in Ferrari red. Already with a fully laden transport moving out to the side island. What we actually got there, that's a lot of units to be spitting out inside 3 minutes 45. 5 engineers as well as a tank. Transport leads the whole thing off with a scout to ensure that he's going to get it without any problems. And I think with that we can focus back in on the middle. Incidentally, all of you Germans out there listening to this, what do you think to my pronunciation of Kotzbrocken? And there's going to be one or two saying, hang on, is he really English? Because the way, he sounds like he's English, but the way he said that in German wasn't bad. And perhaps he's half German, you never know. Perhaps he is. Perhaps with that I can sometimes get away with having a little cheeky comment against the Germans, of course. It's about the only group that you can still have a pop at. I can't say anything about anybody else. What I can say, though, is that Nursing a Semi is toe-to-toe here with Nooby. The Seraphim and the UEF trying to bag themselves as much mass as possible. And on rolls NHK, and that makes it a 2 versus 1 together with this artillery here from Nooby, and that's going to course Nurse. He's going to have to stop nursing his semi and start thinking about evacuating. Oh my goodness, there's more artillery raining down, and Nursing a Semi is eating a lot of it. Health drops down to below 50%. The 2 commanders from Team 2 are both pretty much on full health. Nursing a Semi's got 3 artillery pieces, but 3 versus about 10 here from Nooby, as well as his commander. Nurse, you're going to have to get your dancing shoes on. Just like they did when apparently the wards were packed. There wasn't room for anybody, but there was room to dance around the wardroom and make dances work there. You know what I'm talking about, and you need to do a little bit of that right now. Nurse and a Semi gets into the drink there with about 25% hit points left. And with that, Team 2 comfortably in control of the bridge. And with it, the vast majority of the reclaim that belongs there. We'll take a quick look out. Oh my goodness! Microchip exploits the situation. Ho, ho, ho. NHK, of course, left his base to go and help out front. And Microchip says, right, well, if you're moving out, I'll move in. And completely demolishes his starting position. Of course, NHK's commander out of the way to deal with it. Has a couple of land factories on the periphery. And they send in artillery pieces. Looks like Microchip was able to send some engineers over. Establish a point defense that destroyed the entire area there belonging to NHK. That's now been resolved, but that will have cost NHK. And take a look at the ecos. NHK just 17 mass per tick in last position now, thanks to that wonderful read there from Microchip. And so there you go. It's not all benefits putting 2 versus 1 in the middle. And Microchip shows why. Check back into the middle. Microchip, incidentally, not yet capped off his side island. We can see Kotzbrocken did. And now the 2 versus 1 up here. Well, say 2 versus 1. Looks like NHK's just stood there, perhaps busy regenerating. Kotzbrocken! Dance! That's it, dance. There you go. Of course, perhaps too little too late. Kotzbrocken there, very low on the health. As Nooby continues to push. Nurse and a semi losing all his forward land factories here. There goes the mass point. Yeah, Nurse and a semi also taking advantage here of the adjacency bonus with the old mass extractor. Of course, has 4 sides to it. And if you position your factories carefully, you can get all of them just touching slightly. Nurse and a semi emerges from the drink to have a pop more at some of these units. Cut off Nooby's reinforcement line, which is, of course, if the commander does walk past, the best thing you can do on low health. As long as you've got intel, and it looks like. And once again, Nurse, get dancing! That's it. Dance like your hospital ward's overfilling and you've got no time for anything but dance! Dance! Oh my goodness, dance, man. 300 hit points. You're going to have to nurse the rest of you now. I don't know about nursing what you're talking about. And finally, NHK thinks, oh, while you're busy doing that, I'm going to suck this piece of mass from the Rex Salem and use that to help restore my base. And you can see, look at him, how cheeky is that? Provided almost no assistance. Just came along to steal the mass. And I'm sure NHK says, look, it was psychological. I was just there to put psychological pressure on Nurse in the semi. And because of that, you saw what happened. And Nooby was able to brush him aside, bully him into the drink. And looks like Nurse in the semi realizes, yeah, it's a bit too dicey for me to come back on top on bridge. I'm going to walk through the water using my submersible capabilities. And we'll have to see if one of his team feels sorry for him and sends him out a Tech 2 transport that he can lift himself out of, or if he's going to have to go all the way over here. Meanwhile, look at this. Crypto91, inside 9 minutes, gets himself a Tech 2 destroyer on the line. It says, look, I know what you're going on about, and cruisers and frigates and all of that stuff, the Tech 1 units, but, you know, that's just too simple for me. I'm going straight to Tech 2. Sod all of that. And here we see his first naval unit on the line there for the Team 1 in the Northern Pond. And that is going to cause Nooby to have to pull back a little bit. And I think Nurse will be grateful for that. Of course, losing his 4 forward operating factories together with these 2 commanders. They would be able to bulldoze through should they wish. Nooby now going for the Tech 2. He's got engineers, which is very important. Every time that I would upgrade my commander, I always made sure I had at least 1 engineer there. The difference in speed is massive. And of course, you don't want to stand still for long. Not when you've got an enemy destroyer in the area, or you've got somebody as Seraphim with their, you know, with the endless artillery pieces that they can put down the Zooies. There we go. I'd get the name eventually. Taking a look elsewhere, we can see front's now stabilized. Microchip with his side island. As we approach 10 minutes, 30 seconds, let's take a look at the incomes overall. It's 25,000 versus 18, favoring Team 2, would you believe it? So despite that raid from Microchip, which we saw was very effective in back here of NHK's base, who's since fully recovered, he's managed to get all of these up to Tech 2 and is in the process of capping them off. Somehow, Team 2 are ahead. Now, I can only assume that's because of the mass that they were able to gain here. Having bullied out Nurse from the front. I think we'll just call him a Nurse. It's going to be a lot easier to say him. But it's got to be, hasn't it? Got to be. But stop digging, because who knows what is these days. And in comes the first tactical missile. Goes for the Tech 2 land HQ. And that forces Nurse to rush up attack missile defense. He does get 1 online. In comes the second tac missile. Is 1 tac missile defense enough to shoot it down? Yes, it is. There's the semi now working on a second. As the first Tech 3 spy plane out the door there from MutantGenepool. 11 minutes, 40 seconds. It crosses the halfway mark. And that's going to allow the Northern team to get some updated info. Let's have a little look. That's what you can see. And this is going to be the first little look at some of these structures we can see here. Most of these have not been scouted at all. There's been some limited intel over here. And there he is. He gets the intel before getting shot down from Bob, who himself has a SAM site in the back of his base, which is not bad play. I always like to put a SAM site in. And now BobTheNoob, just a few moments later, gets a Tech 3 spy plane over on the other side of the map. And so despite a slight discrepancy between the ratings on these two guys, just a few seconds at least separates their Tech 3 spy plane antics. Quick check over in the North Pond then. Some naval action. Oh no. The superior tech but short of a cruiser. And Kotzbrocken's making him pay. Putting torpedo bombers down on that navy that without would be superior. Oh no. MutantGenepool does now get a couple of ASF over there. They bag themselves one of the torpedo bombers. There goes two. Still two torpedo bombers in the area. Interceptors going down. There goes the third torpedo bomber and the fourth. But unfortunately, he's too little too late. Crypto loses both of his destroyers. And that's going to leave these frigates wide open and vulnerable. Mostly to torpedo fire here. From Kotzbrocken, of course, the destroyers have got their own anti-torpedo devices, as well as the capabilities of firing torpedoes of their own, which is what makes them so deadly versus submarines. Little air engage here. Once again, microchip with a drop across the ways. This time with a bunch of artillery. 6 artillery pieces on that drop, and he's going for a Tech 2 mass point that's capped off. He's covering the area with interceptors. And he does take out the mass point. Okay, now what? You're covering it. NHK brings in some bombers. Cut will make it through the screen. Oh no. Microchip didn't move. And with that, despite the bombers going down, what's hugely important for NHK there is, of course, the artillery. Look at this, guys. Look at this. NHK had also rushed out a few flares. The easiest, quickest, cheapest unit to produce that is best at dealing with artillery pieces. And with that, had the bombers not worked, the flares would have. And so NHK there with 2 ways of dealing with the situation. And she saw that just how effective it was. And so perhaps a bit of a moot point as is if Microchip moved those artillery pieces or not. MutantGenepool throwing more scouts over all the time. And again, guys, this guy is below 1,000 rated, and look at his scouting. He's scouting the entire opponents. Back in my day, it was very rare that even a 1,200 would be scouting like this. I'm telling you, I know I keep saying it, the skill level overall is much higher than it used to be. And so, you know, if you're like me and think, oh, I used to play and I was a 1,500 or a 1,600, let me tell you, you won't be today. You won't be today. It's vastly higher. Nooby here going for the old Tech 3 on his commander. He's about 50% done. He's got 5 or 6 engineers assisting. Oh, but he's got a destroyer. And this time Crypto learned his lesson. Thinks, yeah, I need to put a cruiser in there. And here's why. The anti-air capabilities of that cruiser. Look at it shredding this air. Granted, they are just scouts from Kotzbrocken. We can see why that's so huge and important to mix in. Nooby now with an army bearing down the Seraphim with a shield not too far away. And of course, the Tech 2 Navy, who is now taking a personal dislike to him. And that's going to fall. Oh, and he does. He cancels. Just 40% health or so left. Yes, very nice indeed. Quick check down here in the southern pond. NHK with a navy now of his own versus a bunch of frigates there belonging to Microchip. The navy here, what we got? We've got a frigate, we've got a destroyer, we've got 3 frigates, a destroyer, and 4 subs. And that is going to beat a group of frigates any day. Nothing Microchip can do about it. He's got to get a destroyer of his own out. And just as I say it, here it comes. But really, my focus of interest right now seems to be in the northern pond. Kotzbrocken gotten there just in time. Bullies Crypto back. And with that, gives Nooby a moment of pause. If you want to get your Tech 3, now's the time. Nooby just happy there, chilling. Using the old engineer attack move out the factory, giving these engineers a superior range on their reclaim abilities there. I'm not sure if that was always intended to be, or if it was just a bug from earlier on and people thought, actually, that's quite a cool bug, we'll leave it in. Either way, it's something that I'm happy to see has stayed. That was, you know, I made a Forged Alliance hints and tips video about 15 years ago. It's still online on my old Baby Alien 83 channel. And that was one of the hints and tips in it, the engineer long-range reclaim. The quality was like 360p or something. It was horrific. That's just how YouTube was back then. You could only make videos that were like, I think 15 minutes long. And anyways, thank goodness times have progressed on since then, at least technologically. Crypto! Oh, look at this. Always makes me excited to see players with the front like this. You know it. Kotzbrocken does too. And very brave, puts his tail between his legs and legs it. I do like this play here from Nooby. Shields up, puts point defense in, and then rather than waiting to be overwhelmed by attack missiles, fires some of his own with the old flapjack, and that's going to force Nurse to put more and more defenses in place. He's already lost his Seraphim shield. Looks like he's just about able to keep these missiles out. Just about. But you're going to have to keep spending more and more economy on these tap missile defenses. And at some point, your opponent switches gears and it's all for nothing. Once again, Crypto coming afoul to this Navy. Or rather, Crypto's the one that's engaging. Nooby's the one that's coming foul to it. Loses his shield. And that is a lot of... Oh my goodness, he's getting sandwiched now. Microchip in from the other side. And if we take a look at the situation there, at our blue friend in front, despite any earlier advantage he may have had with the assistance from NHK, all of a sudden that means nothing as he finds himself uncomfortably between a rock and a hard place. The Tech 2 Navy from both sides. As we restore the camera. Kotzbrocken together with NHK to the rescue. NHK causing Microchip to back right off. Microchip not happy to engage. Whereas the two players in the north happy to tango for a little bit. Nooby very bravely sends his flapjacks up front to try and get what they can. That leaves them very vulnerable to attack from the Tech 2. He does lose at least 2 or 3 of them, as well as some Tech 1 units. Kotzbrocken once again moves back forwards. Kotzbrocken, look how quick he's reinforcing right now. This is going to give Crypto something to think about. Even if Crypto currently does have numbers in terms of Tech 2, as well as the sonar. By the way, something that Seraphim always lacked was a Tech 3 sonar that you could move around, stealth or not. Once again, Crypto has been watching some of my videos, and he knows what makes me excited. Seen players make a decent front, and Nooby on the other side looks like he's happy to help his pal out. Bully Microchip away. The old UEF Riptides, the Tech 2 tank that can hover above the water, unlike the Wagners of the Cyberns that goes underneath. And now we see Destroyer knocks the Riptide out the way as NHK backs up. And so Nurse decides, you know what, I'm going to help North Pond out. He gets the Seraphim Navy there to assist his Cybern friend. Of course, is going against the Seraphim Navy as well. And the advantage here we see with these beam weapons. Look at them. Just don't seem to miss, so it's very rare. However, the projectiles from the Cyberns can and do miss, especially if your opponent starts zigging and zagging. And that's what gives the Seraphim Navy versus especially the Cyberns or the UEF an advantage. Of course, it does require the player to keep micro in. And here we see, look, a lot of these projectiles. If I can get the camera working properly, as soon as Kotzbrocken starts moving again, we see a lot of the projectiles from the Cyberns missing. It looks like Nurse here happy to put more Navy in the North Pond there. Now 3 destroyers on the line. And the all-important cruiser back here. Just look at the range of these missiles. Sure, it forces Nooby to defend against him, who's now got 3 shields here in the area. More TAC missile defense. The range on this thing, together with its anti-air capabilities, not capillaries. It's not a biology lesson. Now 4 destroyers. So regardless of whether this fight was 50-50 between Crypto and Kotzbrocken, of course, Kotzbrocken enjoying the extra side islands. I think Nurse is going to put a stop to that advantage now with a 5th destroyer rolling out onto the line. Although it does seem that Crypto is the first to get engineers stuck in there. Let's just have a little look on the sort of reclaim we've got. Well, there you can see, add those numbers up. We've got 7,000 right in this particular area here. And whoever gets their fingers on that first is going to be the first to put it back into new ships that are going to be able to fight tomorrow. This time, it's Team 1's turn to bear the brunt of a Navy from Team 2's side. Oh, look at this. The sheer range of those Seraphim cruisers. Look at it. Firing missiles across the way there. Not just straight across the bridge, but diagonally ways across. And of course, the destroyer's got no way to defend against these missiles. He's got to move unless he's happy to lose it. And I think Nooby's attention must be elsewhere. And there he goes. Destroyer goes down for naught. Doesn't even manage to break through the Seraphim shields. Nurse and the semis managed to nurse himself 4 of them online. Check back here. Microchip the first to exploit the mass from the wrecks over here. That's assuming he can get near it. NHK says, no, you don't. And with that, they all go down. We see more of them from Microchip coming all the time. This battle here in the South Pond feels a lot closer than the North one. The North one was close until Nurse got involved. I mean, not that it's over. It just felt like Kotzbrocken had numbers versus Crypto. Of course, we see here the number of kills these have now got. Between those, almost, if not 50 kills. The cruiser over here, another 41. Granted, a lot of that is going to be air targets. Take a look here. 5,500 mass worth of kills for this cruiser. This one, 2,500, 2,000, 1,000, 1,800, 2,000, and that one just 33 mass. Add all of that up, that's, you know, coming towards 10,000 mass, favouring Team 1, all because of what Nurse is doing, and so nothing to be sniffed at all. And now Kotzbrocken picks off a few destroyers, once again finding themselves vulnerable without cruiser coverage. Maybe a minor mistake there. And here we see the torpedoes don't miss. Got a guidance system on board. Crypto very quick to get interceptors there. Nurse and a semi just as quick to send his cruisers forward, and that's going to make short work of those torpedo bombers. Now one of them lands in a spot that is not too suitable. And actually gets picked up by the tactical missiles belonging to the cruiser, not the anti-air. Quick check over here. Bit of an air engage there. MutantGenepool gets on Bob's 6 o'clock. Bob's 6, though, does eventually manage to run away. Kotzbrocken now with a reinforced Navy. Fancying another stab at this, but Nooby. I've been in this position a million times as a Setons forward player. You went and won almost the whole game. and then somebody on the other team had to go and spoil it by building a navy that happens to take a particular dislike to your escapades down the mid. And with it, your hopes and dreams crumble. Nooby forced back. Does have himself a couple of Tech 3 mobile artillery pieces. The UEF Demolisher. Interestingly enough, though, is nursing a semi. I really would have thought he'd have carried on trundling through, but no. Decides to stay in the water. He's a Tech 2, and he's just assisting Microchip's naval yard here. And so, you could say that Pink there, the forward player for Team 1, is assisting the Navy down south, even if it's just build capacity. And then in the North Pond is literally working on his own Navy. And that is putting Kotzbrocken back. This is 2 versus 1, if ever I've seen it. Now the Zooey spam as well from nursing a semi, as if things weren't bad enough. And again, Kotzbrocken, take a look on the shift, knows that the only advantage he's got is to keep zigging and zagging. And there you can see just these slight little changes in orders and trajectory of the units. Every time he does that, it's going to cause a bunch of longer range projectiles from the Cybers as well as the artillery pieces to miss. Kotzbrocken now kiting back. Take a look out there. MutantGenepool having another gander over here. And Bob having another gander over there with a couple of scouts. Nooby sending scouts down through the mid. But what really matters right now is the Navy here. Crypto pushing deep inside Kotzbrocken's main base. And he's there. A couple of Barracudas as well as frigates rolling up. Kotzbrocken with a Tech 3 Navy HQ there. And he's almost going to get a battleship online. He's got enough engineers here. He just then send a frigate back to deal with the 2 frigates belonging to Crypto. I'm sure he's going to get the battleship online. But at what cost? Crypto here. The Cyber destroyers with their cheeky little legs start walking up onto the land. The only faction with a boat that can do so. And with that, the battleship belonging to Kotzbrocken is online. 2 kills thus far. And with the splash damage and the proximity of these battleships from Crypto, some of these shots are going to be a 2-for-1. Kotzbrocken now putting together some point defense back here. Packs itself another destroyer. It must have been about 8 or 9 destroyers here from Crypto. Oh, he's desperately trying to keep his naval yard online. 5,000 hit points. Of course, it's the Tech 3 HQ. Nursing a semi gets some frigates as well as destroyers. Dive your destroyers, man. The battleship is having a field day. Dive the destroyers. He can't shoot at you if you're submerged. Nurse, if you ever watch this, I assume you know it. Your attention must have been elsewhere, but these destroyers turn into submarines at the click of a button. And with that, they'd be able to brush this battleship aside. But on the surface, and they do manage eventually to succumb to it, although I guess their primary objective is complete. The Tech 3 Naval HQ there belonging to Kotzbrocken goes down. Battleship on the line now from Nurse as well. The Seraphim player for the northern team gets one past the 50-way mark. Oh, Nooby with the Fat Boy. Well, the battleship outranges the Fat Boy, but the Fat Boy can put down more fire if it does get in range. Fat Boy, of course, has a shield, which is okay, but once that shield collapses, the Fat Boy very quickly succumbs to any fire. And looks like Nooby, well, at first he was thinking about it, now he's backing off. Does then get some Tech 3 engineers up on the line and buys himself a shield. And yes, so that's going to be at least somewhere to hide behind, although when you've got a battleship knocking on your door, you may want a little more than a Tech 2 shield. Kotzbrocken not entirely dissuaded by this attack. Very quick to rebuild. He's got Tech 1 naval yard exactly where the other one was. He's now assisting it to Tech 2. And he's still got his battleship online that's got 10 kills thus far. And with it, 12,000 mass worth under its belt there. And he's certainly going to want to look after that, is Kotzbrocken. It's about the only naval vessel he's got, but it's a good one. And of course, is very weak versus enemy subs and torpedoes. But versus destroyers, especially when they're being straggled in like that, one at a time, it's going to make it pay. Enemy sub there as well that Crypto managed to sneak in. That gets picked up by Kotzbrocken. And a quick look now down in the south. Been neglecting things over here. It's been a bit static. We've not seen too many wrecks in the water from earlier on. But what we are seeing is an emergence of battleships from both players. Let's have a quick count. Microchip, he's got 4 on the line and 8 in total. So 4 more reinforced in the line. NHK, well, he's got 4 on the line and that's it. But also has an experimental battleship here, the Tempest, belonging to the Aeons. Puts out a massive plasma ball. And not only does this cause a huge amount of damage, but also has a decent splash. Let's see if the second one hits. So we've got 28,500. Oh, and then it misses. Me about singing its praises, and then of course it misses. But Microchip got numbers here. NHK is the one with the experimental battleship. Let's have a look now. 18,500, 10,500. So there's your answer. 8,000 hit points this thing can shed if it connects. And of course, if you pack your navy together, that's 8,000 damage to everything else that finds itself too close. Bit of micro here from NHK. Decides to pick on the weakest battleship, which is the way to go. Get rid of one and then move on to the next. A couple of battle cruisers over here from the UEF. They've no doubt been handed over there thanks to Nooby. Despite working on the Fat Boy and dealing with this issue in the front, is given a large build capacity actually. These drones here, these kennel drones, let's have a look. -6 mass apiece, and there's a whole bunch of them there. Yeah, so the battle cruisers, yeah, perhaps not best to just throw them in versus a bunch of battleships. Your battle cruisers are very good at dealing with frigates and destroyers that are trying to run by. At this point, NHK is just throwing a few too many naval ships away. He's not winning the engage. He certainly wants to bring this battleship within range so it can fire. Looks like he's got it. There we go. That's it. Make sure you're putting out the maximum amount of firepower that you can. That was a beautiful strike there. About 4 battleships going down to just 2 shots. Sorry, 4 destroyers goes down to just 2 shots. There goes a battleship. And finally, a few much needed wins there for NHK. There's so much mass now in that southern pond. Look at that. There's 50,000 mass there if you add those numbers up. Somehow Kotzbrocken's still in this one. He's got his battleship. This battleship, man. If ever there was a unit in the game that did so much, it's this one. 36 held on when he'd lost almost everything. That was just about enough to bat away the navy belonging to Team 1. Taking a look up here, MutantGenepool meanwhile drops in on Kotzbrocken's side island with a bunch of artillery pieces. I think that might have actually been the second time it got dropped. Kotzbrocken now with units in place to deal with. Perhaps the Tech 1 bomber would help things as well. Let's have a quick look elsewhere on the map, things that are going on. BobTheNoob is working on a Scathis, and it's almost 50% online. 36 minutes. Does he have the ASF, though, is the question. 113. Okay, so it's not nothing. It's not nothing. Granted, pros might have a few more at this point, but we can't all be pros. And then again, Bob does also have himself a Scathis halfway online. Quick look at MutantGenepool. Situation over there. Well, 247 ASF. It's about a 2-to-1 advantage for our yellow friend. Of course, with a much more typical air build, got the air grid here. No Scathis or nearest equivalent, i.e. a long-range artillery. We've got another air grid here, and of course the all-important strategic missile defense with teleport defense, telemaser defense with all of the shields as well as the SAM sites. So pretty much standard meta from our yellow friend up there. Once again, though, in the northern pond, Kotzbrocken push right back to the start. And this time, he doesn't have the enjoyment of a battleship versus inferior tech, but rather the opponents are the ones that have got superior numbers on battleships. As 6 of them roll into his base. Seraphim shields that can float, of course. And with that, Kotzbrocken's days in the drink are looking numbered. All it feels it needs is a little push from Nurse. Some static artillery pieces also on Kotzbrocken's. What's he got here? 15 static artillery pieces on the side of his base there with the Seraphim shields. Just back himself the Tech 3 sonar that was wandering around there from Crypto, perhaps getting a little too close to some of Kotzbrocken's abilities. He's also got himself the Tech 3 submarine there, the Sub Hunter. But checking back in on the south, and once again, microchip, look at this. Look at this front line. Oh my goodness. Something for us all to get excited about. And with it, NHK loses one of his Tempests. There goes the second. He does have 2 more on the line. There's a third one that's halfway done that's about to join him. Another battleship and all. It's starting to feel like numbers are tipping into Microchip's favor the more we go. And look at this. Oh, Microchip benefiting from all the mass. He's throwing engineers and support commanders. He's flying more in all the time. Let's have a look at what Microchip's reclaim looks like. 85,000, 86,000, 87,000, 89,000. Man, those are sick numbers. Oh my goodness. Disgusting amounts of mass. And you can be sure all of that is going to be reinvested into more Navy. And for now, it doesn't look like the Southern team have got much in the way. They're trying to get a few engineers up close, but they're going to be lucky if they get themselves the wreck of a frigate here. All that fire coming down from Microchip. NHK needs to switch gears, and it looks like this may be the start. Look at this. He's trickling forward Tech 1 scouts. Now, these are rubbish. They're not going to help him in any way whatsoever in terms of gaining. But what they are going to do is tie up the enemy's ability to shoot. If the enemy starts firing at these scouts, like what we see here, look at this. You've got battleships, and not just 1 or 2. How many we got? 13 battleships on the line there from Microchip. And most, if not all, are engaging Tech 1 scouts. Every time those battleships fire at that scout, buys these experimental battleships here from NHK more time to fire with impunity. It's like Microchip recognizes it, throws the old frigates forward, and still getting more and more aggressive with these engineer drops. I don't believe this. Microchip, perhaps watching how Blackheart used to play from years ago. He was always real big on the reclaim. The best at it, I think. Kotzbrocken, not for the first time, finds his main base, or his main naval facilities anyway. His Pearl Harbor is suddenly surrounded by the Japanese. And with it, devastation. Just the last few units that find themselves in the water. It's just a formality, and that's it. Kotzbrocken's shore buildings now going down as well, collapsing one after the other like night follows day. And with that, Team 2 completely eradicated from the northern pond. The southern pond is still in flux, and out comes the first nuke. From where is it? Well, it's Kotzbrocken himself. Nuke is trending northeast. Passes through the air there, belonging to MutantGenepool. Continues trending northeast. And Crypto 91's on the run. He's moving out. And the nuke moves in. He is suddenly trying to get himself a strategic missile defense online. But that's too little too late. The nuke connects. And with it, a large portion of Crypto's main base goes up. I think he was very lucky to hold on to this Tech 3 Naval HQ. Perhaps a minor mistake there. Maybe Nurse the Semi would have wanted... Rather, Kotzbrocken would have wanted to position the nuke here. Of course, easy to say in hindsight. So there are mods that let you see exactly where the nuke will land and the splash damage. Perhaps worth a look at. And with that, a player hands off. A large number of units handed over there to Nerf. And I don't believe it! Oh my goodness, Bob, did you finish that quick? The Scathis, apologies for missing this. Somebody jumped in. Did you take it out? I didn't see the Tech 2 point defense, says MutantGenepool. So MutantGenepool tried to jump in, doesn't manage it, and with that becomes the first casualty of war. 43 minutes, and Bob gets himself a Scathis. And the first lot of rounds against the side island there that rightfully should belong to his team, but's been captured by Nurse the Semi. I'd be surprised if he continued to fire over there. How many kills did that get on the first round? 27. And there goes the second lot. Just the way that those plasma shells fly through the sky, looking like harmless little droplets. As my own cat comes to join us, she's just as excited watching these fall through the air. And they're raining in. And it looks like Nursing a Semi's main base is on the menu. Got a surprise. And there it is. Kaboom. What a beautiful weapon, man. So deadly. Of course, if there's anybody equipped to deal with it, it's the Seraphim and their shields. The strongest Tech 3 shields in the game. And you're going to need them when you've got Scathis fire raining in like this. Oh, ho, ho! At least 2 or 3 of the strap bombs there getting shot down as the Scathis fire connects. And Nursing's base now at risk of the fire there from the Scathis. We see a nuke out here. That's going towards Microchip's side island. I'm more interested here. Kotzbrocken finally goes down to the Navy there. That's a large percent of the air grid in back. Apologies for missing this. Just, at this point, what happens there on Rock is just a matter of trying to buy time. Northern side have clearly won. But what is keeping Team 2 in the game is this. And with that, what was once Nursing a Semi's very strong air grid at back goes up in smoke. Just 1 fusion and 1 air fact remain online. A couple of Tech 3 mass points and a couple of support commanders that are there trying to pick up the pieces. And that doesn't look like it's going to last too much longer. As yet a few more droplets of doom landing. And there indeed goes the air fact. Somehow the fusion still stays online. More and more units are coming all the time. Quick check back down here what's going on. And now Nooby defeated by Nurse and a Semi, who's got these battleships up front that seem unstoppable. So they get into the fjords belonging to Team 2, nestling themselves right in between the crevice of two bases. And with that, bags himself 2 players in 2 minutes. And suddenly, it's a 3 versus 2. Having been a 4 versus 4 just 5 minutes ago. This battle continues to rage. And now NHK, look how much time he's buying himself by throwing all this spam forward. You've got 1 million battleships here that are just shooting at nothing. And with that, bought NHK a bit more time. Gets himself 4 experimental battleships online, as well as commanding here an experimental aircraft carrier that, despite just 3 kills, is already a 1-star vet. And the Scathis here. Oh my goodness, look at all these strategic bombers that Nurse has managed to acquire. How many's he got? 24. Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see those put to more use than a few straggling purses. That's NHK, who's now in control of the forward base, are just sending those forward. Look at this. Don't part your hair there. These purses are enjoying it though. But just look, it takes 2 shots to put together, or to rather to destroy one of the ASF. Nurse does finally realise it, having lost at least 10 of them there, thanks to the purses. I have to try and keep an eye on these strat bombers. What's this? A very suspicious looking group of support commanders build themselves a stealth generator, a teleport defence, then a shield, and are on work with a paragon. Passing 3,000 hit points out of 5,000. Some of you regulars appreciate. At least he spotted it this time. I can hear somebody saying a distant echo. Yes, he did. BobTheNoob with his Scathis. 234 kills as it unloads another load of ammunition. And this time, it's the base that's been handed off to Nurse and a Semi. Or rather, was always his. Either way, it's in his control now. And it's on the menu. In come the rounds. There's a lot of shield in there. But it breaks through. And another air grid here. Oh my goodness. Air grid power. I think a few fusion reactors as well. And they all go up. It's a massive amount of destruction. Economic. Equally impressive as the battleships there. And they've rendered this base almost pointless. And looks like NHK, who's been emboldened by his escapades over here with the scouts, perhaps thinking of spamming a similar sort of a thing over here. No, these are Tech 2 factories, and so they're not going to spam scouts, and highly unlikely they're going to spam Yenzine. The Zuis. They are probably going to go for the Yenzines. Although no, take all that back. It is the Zuis. Nurse the Semi here, trying to get some engineers on there. Trying to pinch what mass he can from his opposite number and the destruction. But they're going to walk headlong into a bunch of artillery units. Battle down here continues to rage. And now, from nowhere, NHK suddenly with 1 million subs. Pings go down. He's got 32 Tech 2 subs. The Aeon Vesper, and with that, the battleship's very vulnerable to it. Of course, microchip with the only counter he's got. He's got all these support commanders. Get Tech 3 anti-torpedo systems, the harms. And that will give these subs something to think about. It's just, can he get enough of them online quick enough? Oh, look how fast they're dying. 29, 28. Oh my goodness! Sod the submarine! Nurse and the Semi's moving his strat bombers in. He's got his air coverage. The strats unload. They're going, gotta be for the Scathis. Oh my goodness. Look at all these ASF belonging to Nurse and the Semi. How many just got shot down by that Scathis barrage? Oh my goodness, man. and they didn't make it. The Scathis is still online, and BobTheNoob has got about 1 million SAM sites and all. Oh my goodness, what's he got? 84 84 SAMs. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this guy was a professional at SimCity before he ever laid his eyes on what FAF was. BobTheNoob has managed to expand to every base. The Paragon's online. Inside 50 minutes there. First order of business from NHK. Get your center donut. What's the Paragon currently doing? Well, it's currently idling away. Perhaps it's not realized it's online, or his attention's elsewhere. Does Team 1 even know about it? They haven't a clue. They haven't a clue. And that's thanks to the stealth generator here, as well as their not having sent a scout this way for some time. The Scathis fire continues to unload. And so right now, Team 1 comfortably in control of their side of the map, clearly in control of the northern ponds. Could arguably say the mid's kind of theirs, because there's no threat there. They've got Navy on both sides. Still a bit of a contest going down in the south, although certainly over 50% in favor of Team 1 as well, microchip. But Team 2 with a Paragon and a Scathis. As I said 1 million times, rock, paper, scissors this game. Indeed, rock, paper, scissors it is. Monkey Lord beats Scathis if it's in range. Scathis beats Monkey Lord if it's not in range. And the air repair stations here from Nurse Semi. You know, I've always been a fan of these. Said it 1 million times, say it 1 million more. But looks like the Scathis takes a dislike to those as well. There's even more rounds. Let's take another little look what we got here. 490 kills so far, thanks to Bob. Bearing in mind, guys, this is the lowest rated player in the game. Not just for his team, in the game. And yet right now, he's the only one keeping his team alive with this Scathis. Of course, NHK working wonders as well, holding off this attack here against a player who's got more eco points. I was going to say has got more economy, but of course, this thing changes everything when it comes to economy. I don't know what exactly goes on in there. Some intricate wonders. Perhaps it pulls economy in from parallel dimensions. Who knows? All that NHK knows and all that I know is it's helpful when you're trying to build stuff. Oh, and now he realizes he gets his support commanders and they're working on a salvation. Let's have a look. Look at that. 72,000 energy. 3,600 mass per tick flowing right now into NHK's coffers. And with that, he's able to produce his Tech 3 salvations. The long-range artillery there belonging to the Aeons. Looks like Team 1 took a dislike to all of those land factories there. NHK was able to just about buy himself a little bit of room as he throws Zuis out. So he actually made a load of Tech 2 factories to mass-produce Zuis. I was expecting to see the Yenzins come out of them. Otherwise, why go Tech 2, right? Maybe NHK says, because it's got a higher build capacity, that's why. Could, of course, be true. It does look like, though, the longer this goes, despite valiant efforts from NHK, microchip seems to be edging a little closer. That is, of course, assuming that BobTheNoob doesn't redirect his Scathis towards microchip's main base. He's also got some of this long-range Aeon fire coming in. How many have we got now? Well, a team player, NHK, produces these artillery pieces and then hands them off. And so BobTheNoob be able to direct both the Scathis as well as the Aeon artillery. And microchips made to pay. Oh my goodness, the quantum gateway going up. I don't care if you can somehow shield yourself against the Scathis. Try Scathis plus Aeon artillery. How many? I'm forgetting its name, what we're calling it. The Salvation, of course. And he's working on a second. And another shield and all. as we approach minute 55. BobTheNoob with a large scouting run. Nurse in a semi picks up on it, says no you don't. Gets most of the scouts, but Bob already anticipated that. Has about 1 million scouts. How many has he got left? 43. And they're going to take a nice peek at what's going on. No doubt searching for some more targets here. Team 1, still any idea? No idea what's going on down here whatsoever. They've seen there's some shields around this mass point. That's all. See a large scouting run here from Nurse Semi. But what's left of Microchip's main expansion there, you could argue this is his main base, although it's not very well developed. Scouts there from Bob having a real nice run of the mill. Large ASF numbers there falling down from Nurse in a semi. Perhaps determined to find out where's this artillery coming from. Plus they know about the Scathis, not so much the Salvation. And it's now taking a dislike to Nurse and Semi's main air grid that's in the middle of the map. Who has been able to re-establish him back. And he's working on more strats. How many strats you got there? 18. So perhaps a little tip, if you do got a Scathis fighter coming in on your base and you've got strat bombs underneath the shields, maybe think about moving them elsewhere. Microchip starts moving all these support commanders out. Oh, Bob takes a dislike to those, as well as the naval yards here. Scathis fire rains down, and these raspberry sets, many of them heavily damaged. More fire coming in all the time. You can see the experimental battleships, NHK down to just 1 last time we checked in. He had 4. Eventually Microchip is winning this fight. It just feels like the battle is starting to slip away from Team 1 a little bit. Oh my goodness. Bob has got a second Scathis online. 118 kills thus far. This one was 729. And put that together with the Salvations, you're looking at 1,000 kills from long-range artillery. And an HK showing no sign of stopping. The third artillery piece online now. And HK going mass spam. He's seen the success of spamming over the sea. Thinks maybe I can do the same over the land. Just producing more and more factories. Let's have a little look. In comes the long-range artillery fire onto Nurse and Semi's main air grid. It breaks through the shields. In comes more rounds. Boom. I don't care how many shields, what race they are. If you've got 2 Scathis and this many Salvations raining down on them. Got 3 of them online so far. There's a 4th one in the works. There ain't nothing you can do, man. You could just have nothing but shields and they'd break through. Oh my goodness, this has got to be disheartening for Team 1. It was looking so good, and then somebody on the other team had to go ruin it. That Nurse and a Semi, whose main base now, let's face it, is to be found on the opposing side of the map. And I saw this one coming. I may not see everything all the time, but I've seen this. 33 strat bombs. And they're making a move on BobTheNoob's main base. Nurse in a Semi leads the strats with a wave of ASF. That ties up the ASF belonging to BobTheNoob, as well as the initial SAM site fire. In come the strat bombs. Oh, and they're all going for the existing Scathis. 837 kills. And the Scathis, together with the wreckage, is no more. Bob the Noob stood a whisker's hair away from ground zero. And he's like, what just happened? And a fusion and all. Unbelievable. And of course, if Team 1 were aware of it, they are now. Dang it, he's got a second. What are they saying? I'm just a punching bag for the Scathis, says microchip. Lol. Crypto says, laugh my ass off. Microchip done with his laser. Let's have a little check on this guy. What's he got? Well, Tech 3, laser and telly, the Cybran. And so at some point, I suspect he'll make use of that. Of course, could be any time. Navy here, though, from Nurse and the Semi, continuing to do the Lord's work. Maintaining dominance all the ways over here. We're trying to establish another base of operations here. Bob the Noob spots it and shuts that down. As with that, we're 1 minute past the hour. Official sign of an epic game, ladies and gentlemen. If you are enjoying this one, do ensure that you leave us a like, especially considering, again, it is a game that's slightly lower in rating than what we usually cover, but by no means has it been any less fun. It's been so much action, so much skill. And I can hear a chicken bot somewhere. All artillery pieces raining in now. The Tech 1 spam versus Bob the Noob's main base. As Nurse realizes there's another Scathis there. I wonder if T1 picked up on the Paragon yet. No! They still have no idea the other team has a Paragon. And how many salvations? 5 thus far, all under control of Bob the Noob. And he's just directing the fire anywhere he wants. He directs that fire, and a minute or so later, that spot is completely wiped off the map. Oh my goodness, apologies for missing this. The chicken gets in close to Bob the Noob's base. And it's unclear whether it destroyed the Scathis or whether the Ion Storm got it. But either way, Bob the Noob is without a Scathis. He had 2. He's lost them both. Thankfully, he's got a megalith here. And that, as well as all of these point defense, that is going to prevent Nurse and the Semi getting any much more done. And Bob the Noob, frustrated by that latest attack, sends out a nuke. Where's that going? Well, we'll check in a bit. Crypto being right cheeky. Tries the old distance build up on the cliffside. Says here, have some of that point defense there. And HK, quick to realize it though, redirects a lot of the spam. We'll check in on these Monkey Lords in a bit. In comes the nuke. Oh, and it's going to be the most expensive SAM site ever killed. The nuke there backs itself 1 kill. Bob must have really taken a dislike to that SAM site. Now the megalith from Crypto walks headlong into Bob's main base. Bob with a Crypto, with a megalith of his own, I beg your pardon. Getting tongue twisted. Bob now using the Salvation Fire defensively, going after this side expansion there belonging to Nurse. Who can blame him? The megalith gets in. Oh my goodness, shoot, man. Guns going this way. They unload 1 shot into a shield. Then twist. Oh my goodness. Crypto, have a word with this gunner. The megalith is going down for naught. Just 5 kills. Oh my goodness. Sack that guy on the spot. It's as bad as my ability of spotting the chicken as it rolls on into Bob's main base. I should have known better seeing as it was on the thumbnail, but nevertheless. That there, one of the worst megaliths I've ever seen.
Strategic launch detected.
Here we see the Salvation Fire redirected up here towards the side expansion. Ursa Semi's just set up so many bases. And Bob the Noob, I said I was going to say it. I said I was going to say it. There it is. God damn it. I was hoping I could get away with that one, and I haven't. Bob the Noob has put a stop to almost all of them. But Nurse Semi is not dissuaded by it. He keeps setting up. That's about the third time we've seen him set up shop in back. And Bob now flinging a nuke across the ways. Where's that going? I need E, says Crypto. Wow, it's going into the back base there. Shuts that down. We see Nurse and Semi did try and get an anti-nuke online. Just didn't have time to get a missile. And with that, back at the base there, including the support commanders. Nice nuke. No doubt about it. And this battle here has just been raging forever. But with all of these Tech 2 tanks here from NHK, together with the Tech 1 spam, how many factories has this guy got? 82 land factories, man. And that's just counting the Tech 1s. What about Tech 2? 61 Tech 2 land factories. So that's 150 or so land factories there belonging to NHK. But I mean, look at it. He's tying up the two most massive navies we've about ever seen. And he's working, and he's buying his teammate, the only one still alive, time to just make use of all this artillery. Team 1's base is in tatters, and as we get to 1 minute, 1 hour, 6 minutes, let's take a look at the economies overall. 4.9 per tick to Team 2 versus 2.1 for Team 1. So a 2-to-1 advantage for Team 2 right now, and in no small part, that's thanks to this. Look at that. 3,600 mass per tick, 55,000 energy per tick. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And let's have a look at the totals overall. 7.25 million versus 5 million, also favouring Team 2. No surprise there. So almost a 3-to-2 advantage over the course of the entire game, favouring Team 2. And somehow, Microchip hanging on, rebuilding his side island once again. Did manage to get a strategic missile defense in. That matters not. Salvation artillery take a dislike to that. Crypto says where to fire Scathis. Good question. Let's have a little look what Team 2 can see right now. Well, they've got scouts everywhere. BobTheNoob on his game. Any sort of centralized build-up, that's where you want to put it. Has he actually rebuilt the Scathis? Well, nearly. So this will be the third Scathis we've seen this game. Hang on. Oh my goodness. No, it's Crypto91. Team 1 have somehow been able to build a Scathis of their own. And the first round of artillery is raining in. And NHK's, well, factories of all factories are on the menu there. How many kills did that get? Bear in mind, much of this is going to be spam. 97, the first round of artillery. In come the second lot. NHK's main base on the menu this time. Salvation takes a bit of damage in that as well. 1,600 hit points shaved off. The third lot of Scathis fire. How many kills? 160. The southern team even aware? Oh, they are now. Scouts in the area. The ping's gone down thanks to Kotzbrocken from beyond the grave. And Microchip now takes a dislike to this. See there, the Scathis fire going after the Paragon. Of course, NHK shielded it. And now with all the artillery redirected over, all of those 3 nukes there from Microchip shot down. But what really matters is what's happening to this Scathis from Crypto. He starts to move it out the way as it's got 231 kills. Salvation fire rains in. And with it, the Scathis is nothing more than a wreckage. And even the wreckage is going to be destroyed now. 2 more nukes, meanwhile, from Microchip. Both of those getting shot down. Of course, Team 1 enjoying all this Tech 3 Navy. much of which is able to produce nuclear missiles. Is this perhaps an oversight from Team 2? Maybe. This has been a plan from Team 1 all along. Let's build up as many nukes and then we'll swarm them. Oh no, it's 2 of them going towards the Paragon, but they're only going to need 1. It connects. Bang. And with that, radiation upon radiation upon radiation, and NHK stood far too close.
Strategic launch detected.
So beautiful nuke there from Nurse and a Semi. And with that, it's a 3 versus 1. BobTheNoob, a 600 rated player, versus the entire team. And he's got to be feeling the stress now. More nukes raining in all the time. 1 does get shot down. 2 get shot down. The nuke there belonging to Bob connects. A large number of the Air Force belonging to Nurse and a Semi gets picked up on that one. Just more and more nukes coming out here from Microchip and Nurse and a Semi. How many nukes have they got? 1 hour, 10 minutes. BobTheNoob, who's still... Let's have a little look. He's got 9 salvations under his control. He's re-established the Scathis with 115 kills. So he's got 10 pieces of long-range artillery. Versus a team that's got 3 players and all the nukes in the world. And I don't think Bob will mind me saying, the higher rated players as well. And so we've seen this once before. Player who's arguably got superior economy, superior map control, superior units, versus a team that's got more players and more skill, at least on paper. Just wow, look at the devastation. More. I need more E, says Microchip. Team 1 struggling a little bit for energy. Of course, any energy, excess energy a player has will spill anyway, so that can only mean they're all struggling a little bit. Bob takes a dislike to the naval construction yards there from Crypto91, eventually taking out the HQ. But I don't think Crypto's too concerned about that. The Salvation Fire now going head to head. Look at this battleship. 341 kills, 273,000 mass killed. It's a 5-star. So this battleship responsible for over 250,000 mass being destroyed. Don't forget, we did say mass totals on this game well north of 15 mil. There we can see it. Currently 8.25 and 5.5. Another nuke coming in from Nurse Semi. 3 of them. Bang. Air construction facilities of BobTheNoob going off. More land factories going up. Air grids. Power facilities. No. Microchips are all. Here comes the nukes. I mean, they're already coming, man. Look at the destruction. Oh my goodness. Do the North team have any idea this is where... Oh, they are now. They are. And they've highlighted where all of the defense structures are. They're well aware of the situation now. The Scathis fire just continues to unload. The Salvations continue to take a dislike to the Navy. And who can blame him? The battleships, of course, are susceptible. And they were the source of so many nukes. I just don't think the Salvations will be as lucky versus all of these subs here. Do you see BobTheNoob raining torpedo bombers in the area? How many has he got? 36. Well, at the moment, they're going for the harm system. Perhaps he's unable to distinguish between the harms and the nuclear missile subs. But here we see him. Microchip now spamming SAM sites and flak. They do go for a strategic missile sub. Plan B.
Strategic launch detected.
Oh, what a nuke. BobTheNoob is playing like anything but a noob. Is putting a nuke right here. And looks like Microchip can read it. As if by crystal ball, he moves his subs out. The support commanders move out. And nursing a semi. He's got so many scouts in this area. In comes the nuke. Bang! And a bunch of support commanders going up with it, as well as banks of anti-air. But the strategic missile subs, all important, do get out the way unscathed. We've got 5 of them there from microchip. Oh, and he's putting a nuke right onto Salvation Central. How many support commanders have we got there?
Strategic launch detected.
30. Thanks to the commenter who gave us the tip there on how to count. 1 anti-nuke goes up, 2 anti-nuke goes up. How many has Bob got? He's got 3 anti-nukes. 2 in this area. Sorry, 3 in this area. This one's got a missile in. This one's got none. That one's got none. And the last missile was just fired.
Strategic launch detected.
And so this nuke has got nothing to stop it. And it's... Oh, it's right here. Oh, my goodness. This is going to be the nuke of the century. If ever that there was a nuke that you've seen commit destruction, this is going to be it. 30 razzed up support commanders, up to 8 salvations. And it's all going to go up in smoke right here, right now. Oh my goodness. There it goes. What an inferno. Bob's going to feel sick. I don't believe it. And to make bad thing worse, we've got destroyers here from Crypto wandering around the map like they own the place. How many salvations survive? Well, we see this one here for sure. We've got 1 heavily damaged one here. But that's 3/4 of them wiped out, from 8 down to 2 in just 1 nuke. Soul Ripper started now from Crypto. And so much anti-air here from BobTheNoob. Of course, he's only got 1 strategic missile defense in base. Does have 7 in the clip, but there's only 1. And there's so many nukes in game. I'm starting to see a way out of this for Team 1, despite the Scathis. 5-star nuke there from Bob, 112 kills. Got itself 145,000 mass. Comes out again.
Strategic launch detected.
Strategic launch here from microchip. Fires 1 back. 2 nukes wave at each other as they pass in the air. And there, down goes the nuke. That's not going to bag itself too much. A few SAM sites, a couple of support commanders. And BobTheNoob's base just getting picked apart by more nukes now. Team 1, who have had nothing of a base to speak of for so long. I mean, look at this. This team up here, despite this, is winning. I can't believe it. BobTheNoob is now working on his 4th Scathis. It'll be the 2nd one under his control. Forget he's already lost 2 of them. He has so much mass, he's not even reclaiming what's right on his doorstep. Oh my goodness. He sends a megalith out to deal with these destroyers. They do bag themselves, they're heavily damaged. Salvation, does he keep this one? It's going to be close. 13, 11, 900 hit points, 700, 600, 400. Oh my goodness. Closer it does not get. Crypto says, you know, I didn't do too bad last time I sent experimentals his way. Let's send 2 Monkey Lords through, and that's going to clear out all of these Tech 1 factories like no bother. Apologies there for ringing and dinging. I bet Half's trying to get in touch with me. She should know better. I've got a fantastic game, an epic going on. There's no time to be ringing me to talk about shopping lists or whatever else it may be. Love you really, Helen, you know that. Although what I don't think Team 1 loves right now is this Scathis fire. But I just get the feeling that despite overwhelming firepower in the hands of the blue player down there, It's Team 1 with the 3 players. APM that by extension is going to be 3 times higher. And the superior number of naval nukes. It's going to be problematic. Chicken gets a bit too close from Nurse Semi. It stops. No, don't stop it. Keep it moving. Eventually goes down. You want that ion storm as far into the base as possible. And comes in with 2 spider bots as all. BobTheNoob gets a megalith online in the nick of time. This time it's his gunner that's showing problems. MonkeyBot takes a dislike to the old support commanders. The support commanders turn. Together with all the Cerberus fire as well as the ion storm. 1 Monkey Lord goes down. Down goes the second. And Bob once again with 2 Scathis. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 1 hour, 19 minutes, 55 seconds. And Bob defeats, I don't know how many experimentals. He's still got air control at least over his base. In fact, taking a look at this, I think Bob's got air control full stop. He may not have land, he may not have sea, but he's got Scathis. Problem is, at some point, you're going to need more than a Scathis to kill enemy commanders that are hiding in deep ocean. I just get, you know, there's only so much you can do versus the nukes in the sea. Bob fires another nuke over here. Perhaps suspecting the nuclear subs are here. Maybe one of them. Of course, most of these are SAM sites. Of course, the harm system there from the Cybrans. Oh, Bob perhaps can't tell the difference. Well, he actually does have a clue what is there. He can't tell what's underneath, though. In comes the nuke. Bang. Does take a little bit of damage on that nuclear sub there, but not any worse. And the nuclear sub is repairing itself. Still somehow got this salvation online. Send a support commander over to build it another shield. How nice. Crypto now with 2 monkey bots this side. Together with more. See here the Soul Ripper making its way across, as well as all this spam belonging to Nurse Semi. Kotzbrocken says give up. NHK says good game, man. Good luck next. Kotzbrocken give up. Microchip lol. It's lost, says Kotzbrocken. 3 commanders. Kotzbrocken, of course, player down here. Bob, the legend of tower defense. Oh my goodness, yes. Of course, that game, real big on mobile phones, isn't it? Those tower defense games. So many SAM sites, so many point defense, so many shield support commanders, long range artillery, experimentals, fusion reactors, you name it. Bob's got it. And he still hasn't moved. He's not moved an inch, I don't think, all game. Bob says, yeah, I only don't move because I don't gotta. Kotzbrocken says, not a good use of a Paragon. Well, I think it was. I do. I just think their only weakness was the lack of anti-nuke. Your opponents had lots of Tech 3 Navy. It was not entirely outside the realm of possibility that they were going to use that to make nukes. Of course, you can't always think of everything. Hindsight 2020. Speed up time just a little bit. As Nurse in a Semi times this, where his spam reaches BobTheNoob's main base, just as these 2 Monkey Lords, Incy Wincy Spider, Numero 1 and Numero 2, making their ways forward. One more Scathis fight. Let's have a look. The new Scathis already 152 kills. The other one 460. Don't forget, all his other stuff already had over 1,000 kills by the time it was taken out, and more. It was 1,000 when we totted it up. That salvation finally coming to an end there. Slow back down to regular time. Here comes the old Soul Ripper from Crypto. Has its own soul ripped from it, though. BobTheNoob with enough anti-air, together with all his SAM sites. Megalith, arguably out of position. As the monkeys come in, Bob then redirects one of his megaliths to deal with. And it starts laying into the monkey lords. There's two of them. No doubt. Scathis is on the menu. Bob! Move your commander, man. Oh my goodness. I don't know if this guy's stupid or just the bravest guy we've ever seen. Arguably, a very thin line separates the two. Bob just turns, takes a glance, has one shot, says good night. You're going to have to try harder than that to put me to bed. Noob or no. Nursing a semi-right cheeky hides behind the crest of the hill. Raining artillery on top of Nob's base. How many support commanders are going to go down to this? Well, who knows? But Bob says, that's it! I've had enough. 1 hour 24. It's been a brilliant game, guys. He finally realizes his predicament. He can't find the commanders, the enemy, and they can keep sending more and more nukes in. And he's feeling the pressure. I certainly am with my voice. And until next time, guys, wherever in the world you may be, take care. And don't forget, do leave us a like if you enjoyed the video. Make sure that you subscribe if that's your thing. Ring the bell if that's your thing. And until next time, wherever in the world you may be, take care. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. See ya. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.